Sources now believe 26-year-old Joseph Comunale was stabbed to death. A weekend party turned murder scene, with police ultimately finding his body today some 60 miles away in a shallow grave. Investigators removed bags of evidence, including a luggage rack that sources say contained blood evidence.
We have two persons that we're going to prefer charges on.
26-year-old Joseph Comunale was last seen on Sunday and was reported missing the next day. Police focused their investigation on a Saturday night party Comunale attended at a luxury apartment building in the heart of New York City. After an exhaustive search, his body has been found buried in dirt in a shallow grave in a wooded area in New Jersey. Comunale's father is trying to process this.
He was a great kid. He was never in trouble. He was the life of the party. He was, look at his friends here. I mean, I got friends from all over the country here that are coming home to pay their respects to this kid. This is not something that was, this is just, we're in denial, right? It's just not something that happens to this kids like this. This was, I don't know if it was premeditated. I don't know how it happened. Look, his friends say the most, and that's what all I have left is his friends.
Two men in their 20s, James Rackover and Lawrence DeLeone, are charged with second-degree murder in Joseph Comunale's death. Now that his body has been found, the big question is, why would these young men, a part of the glamorous nightlife of New York City, want to do something like this? Joining us right now is Ethan Harp. He is the reporter for NBC News Radio. Joining us on the set, Ethan, thank you very much for joining us. You know, I noticed the name here, James Rackover, is one that has been charged with a second-degree murder. In fact, it was his apartment, right?
Right.
He is associated with James Rackover, who is the jeweler to the stars.
This is another of the bizarre twists in this case. The elder Jeffrey Rackover has done jewelry for Oprah Winfrey and J-Lo and Melania Trump. Reports early on had said that the suspect, James Rackover, was the son of the elder Rackover. But today, a private investigator, the well-known private eye Bo Dietl, who knows the elder Rackover, came and said, no, these guys met about 3.5 years ago. James became like the son that the elder Rackover never had. And so James, the younger man who came from Florida, had a different name, wanted to change his name. And the elder Rackover said, go ahead. You are now James Rackover.
And he was living in an apartment in a luxury building. It's a rental, I understand. But just go back a couple of nights ago. What are the facts as we know them?
We know that this young man, Joey Comunale, came down here from Stamford, Connecticut to have a night of fun with friends. He's out with friends, somehow gets separated from them, follows another group over to this luxury apartment in what's known as the Sutton Place area, a very exclusive part of New York City. They're partying into the wee hours. There may have been an argument. What we know is that whatever happened next was bloody. The police say that the victim was stabbed at least 15 times and then dumped down at the Jersey Shore. Not a quick trip, left in a shallow grave. And by the way, they found bleach in the apartment. They found gasoline down at the scene of the Jersey Shore where the body was left. It looks like whoever killed this young man also wanted to destroy the evidence.
So let me get this straight. New York City, high-rise apartment. This young man, Joseph Comunale, stabbed 15 times?
Yep, that's what the cops are saying.
Blood all over the place.
Right.
What about the cart, the luggage cart? Because here in New York City, in an apartment building, you have a luggage cart, and if you want to take luggage up and down, you get the cart.
And that's one of the questions. How did they get this victim out of there? You've got security cameras. This is a neighborhood where people keep their eyes open. How would you get this person down from the 4th floor of a high-rise and then down the New Jersey Shore some 60 miles away? Another big question tonight.
All right, and they found blood on the luggage cart.
Blood there and blood inside the apartment, and then they've got the body down in South Jersey.
So he's buried in a shallow grave, and we're going to go to break in just a minute, but I want to get the facts out, and then we'll go to the lawyers. So he was taken 60 miles away. How far?
Something like that, and that's not an easy commute out of New York City. How they were able to do this, the second suspect, who comes from Jersey City, may have worked in construction, may have been familiar with that area.
Oh, very interesting. Shallow grave, though, right?
Absolutely, about a foot deep.
Only a foot deep.
In the woods.
Right. All right. A horrific crime. It is just beginning, just happened. We're going to be right back, and we're going to talk to the lawyers.
It'd be self-serving for me to tell you guys what a great kid my son was. He was loved by all, as you can see by the guys here. This is not something that I want to do, and I put the making a statement off for 2 days now. But he was loved by everybody. He had hundreds of friends. He didn't deserve this. I don't know what else I can say, but it's total loss. He touched everybody. Everybody that came in contact with this kid loved him. He was one of a kind.
And that is the father who lost his son in the blink of an eye from one night to the next. Police are trying to figure out how and why Joseph Comunale was a part of the New York nightlife. He was this weekend. He came and he wound up in a shallow grave. Thank you for joining us. Brian Claypool, defense lawyer, we do know that they were all at a party at a big nightclub in New York City, went to the Upper East Side to an apartment, 3 girls, the 3 guys, and then he left. I'm talking about the victim, Joseph Comunale. He left with the girls, but then he came back.
Right. I find that fact to be very, very important in this case, because why would he leave with the 3 women, then come back after that? That triggers in my mind that possibly there was a dispute that he had with Rackover. And I think finding his phone, looking at text messages, might lead to why he came back. And I personally think that this might have ended in some kind of confrontation. And I think Rackover, if I'm representing him, he's going to have to step up, maybe cooperate with the police, and he's probably going to argue that this was self-defense.
Stacey Honowitz, prosecutor, joining us from Florida. You know, this is second-degree murder. That's what it's charged as. But here in New York, second-degree murder is life in prison. It is an intentional act in most respects here. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we have to piece together. Right now, there's 2 people in custody. We don't know the theory of what happened, and Brian's right. The idea that he left with these women could be very important because they might have given statements as to what was going on in the apartment beforehand. Maybe they told him something that led him to go back to the apartment. Maybe these girls told him something that was going on. So for now, we're going to have to see how the evidence pieces together, and I wouldn't be surprised if one flips on the other to try to get a better deal. I think that's what we're probably going to see in the long run.
Ethan, I want to ask you,
flipping against the other.
Right, which is so common. Ethan, James Rackover, we have been told, has not been cooperating with police.
That's what police said today.
Somebody led him to that shallow grave.
Right, might have been Lawrence DeLeone. We know one of the suspects told cops where to go. DeLeone lives in Jersey City, New Jersey, worked in construction, apparently knew that area, so logic would dictate he would have a better sense of where to lead people. Better question is, what was he doing knowing to dump a body down there if he did that?
All right, and NYPD today held a press conference, but we still have no idea why, right? Why this happened.
Maybe an argument, maybe a simple argument, as Brian says.
All right. Brian, last word?
15 stab wounds, that means to me that this was a